Hey, what's up, everybody? Gemini Trucker coming at you right here. Thank you for all the views and the questions. I want to first apologize before I get into the training part of Westside. Being on the road, when you train, you drive a lot, and when you're done, you go to sleep. And you know how it is with your mobile app. You don't really get a chance to see as much as you do on your desktop. So if I miss some of your comments and questions, I apologize. But from now on, I'll be on it every day, so I won't have to worry about it. Basically, I'm going to go through the 3-week training process with you and what it takes from the day one to your graduation day. So I'm just going to throw a synopsis in of basically that 3 weeks for you so you can understand what to expect. As you see, I'm back home finally. Thank God I got home early this morning, about 2:30 in the morning. I dispatched out of Cedar Rapids, dropped my load off in Indy, and then I came up home and off for 4 days. But let's get started. So the first week after your orientation, your third day of orientation, which you probably watched my video. If you haven't, they're all in this folder. Basically, you wait for your drug test to come back, and sometimes they take long, sometimes they right away. I don't get it. They just come in batches, and they don't come in like your whole batch that basically your group was in. They come in a whole like different kind of batch. So a few of the guys got to go out early because their drug test came back, and they got to go. Mine ended up coming back later, so my trainer left, and I stayed till Friday. And then he picked me up Friday morning, and we talked in the driver's lounge, which I've got a video on there. It shows that too. And we kind of just got to know each other, and we got in the truck, and we drove. He was from St. Louis, so we just drove straight to St. Louis. And then he dropped me off at the hotel since it was the weekend. He picked me back up Monday. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind, when you're out with these drivers, you're out for 26, 30 days, whatever it is, and basically you are whatever they do is what you do. So I was with the Midwest Regional. They have Midwest Regional, and they have OTR. Basically, those are the two that I talked to. So if you're on an over-the-road driver, you may run all the way out. I know a guy ran all the way out to the East Coast. I mean, it's the same amount of training. It doesn't really matter. You're still gone the same amount of days. We just, drove in a circle because we were Midwest. We had a region where other guys went to, New England and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's not like it's any different. The only difference is I stayed at the same hotel every weekend, where these guys, wherever they were done and ready to take their reset, they got a hotel where they were. So keep in mind that you are at the mercy of whatever they are in. One guy I know quit because his driver was an over-the-road driver and wouldn't buy him a hotel, made him take his whole weekend in the truck, and he just quit. I don't blame him for that, but what he probably should have done was called in and said, hey, my trainer's not letting me go to a hotel on a weekend. He's making me stay in a truck. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I had trouble with my trainer. I'm not going to go into detail on it. But the safety department did work with me and asked me if I wanted to switch. But they were very open and very caring and said, hey, do we need to put you with another trainer? But I said no, because I only had 1 week left and I was driving, and so I wasn't worried about his driving or anything like that. And my wife comes to see me in St. Louis, and she was bringing my medicine, so I went ahead and finished out my time with that. But they will, if you have a legitimate problem with your trainer, you got to be open-minded. But if it's a legitimate excuse, a legitimate problem, they're not going to send you out if you don't feel safe or if you don't feel comfortable. So keep that in mind. But I went through my training with this guy, and like I said, I didn't have a real good experience, but I'm going to tell you what you're going to do and what you're going to experience. So the first week, basically, if you don't know how to drive a 10-speed manual or you're not real good at it, the first few days they're probably going to work on that with you. And I could drive, so right away he didn't care. I mean, I knew how to drive one. I've driven them for years, so basically we just drove. But you start learning the Qualcomm. If you don't know what Qualcomm is, it's basically a device in your truck that sends and receives your messages for your trip plans. Basically, it's a way for you to communicate with your driver manager and Westside. But we have these things called macros. You'll learn about those in class. They're just numbers. All they are is automated emails that basically you fill in stuff for, like what trailer you have, what bill of lading, that you delivered, your ride. I mean, there's a ton of them. It's that's a whole nother video. But you'll learn that. You'll learn what to do with your DOT hours of service. Trip planning. You need to learn how to trip plan because it's very important. Yeah, they do have a GPS, but it's supplemental. You really need to get an atlas and look at your map and say, hey, I'm going to go here to here and figure out how many hours it takes. And this is why. It's not because to get there. It's really because you need to know where you can take your 8-hour break and then your 10-hour break, because you only get 11 hours drive and 14 hours to work. So you really can't just expect, okay, well, my 10 hours is up and a rest stop or a truck stop be there. Trust me, it doesn't happen. But I got to a point where I had to make an emergency stop because my trainer was asleep, and I basically was running low on hours. I had a half hour left, and I found a rest stop, and I whipped in there and went on my 30-minute break, so I had to go violation. So, trip planning is a very big key. They basically, that way you can say, okay, there's a truck stop at such and such exit. I can go ahead and take my half-hour break there. And then I can go from here to here, and we can make it. Maybe you can make it to your destination, maybe you can't. But maybe, let's say you can't, then okay, well, there's a truck stop or a rest stop area or whatever there. I can stop, take my 10 hours, and then deliver in the morning. But definitely use your atlas and do your trip plan. Don't Google by your phone. Don't, get on the map, because we divide our hours by 50 as an average, so you make sure you have enough time to get there. So if it's 8 hours, but don't divide it by 64 miles an hour. Say you're going to average 50 miles an hour, divide it by that, and then that's how long it's going to take you to get there. They're going to teach you how to back properly, refine your backing, basically how to move your tandems and do the proper weight. But you like, say you're 40-some thousand pounds, you're going to want to weigh that. They'll teach you how to scale it. And if you're over on your back tandems, they'll teach you which way to slide them and stuff like that. Same with your front. You're also going to learn how to properly do your bills of lading and your trip sheets and stuff I guess they are trip sheets. But at the end of each one, you fill out a trip sheet, and you got to scan them and put them in and send them off the west side. That's how they get paid, which is how you get paid. So that's very important. But the 3 weeks consists of you driving and learning all that. You sleep in the bunk. But my trainer was actually, even though we had problems, he was really cool about giving me a lot of space. He gave me 3 cabinets, and I had the top bunk. I advise you to have headphones. Basically, if you don't have a lot of data, bring your iPod with you or something, because they may snore, they may play video games, they may watch TV, whatever they do, because you got to think you're in their house. It's their truck. So basically, I slept on the top bunk, was really comfy. It was actually surprisingly comfortable. And I put in my headphones every night. I have a big data plan, so I'd watch Netflix and stuff like that. It's something I could recommend. But if you have the money, up your data so you're not just bored, or at least pre-download movies on something. Maybe you have a tablet or something, but definitely at night, that's one thing I recommend. Anytime you go in to a truck stop, if they stop and, say you need to pee and you want to get something to drink, something to eat, always, if you don't have one, always ask for a bag, because you can hang the bag right here on your arm of your armrest, and that's your trash can. Then when you get the next one, you take it out, dump it. That way you keep a clean truck. I'm really, really big on a clean truck. I don't like a dirty truck. DOT doesn't like a dirty truck. I don't know why anybody would want to live in a dirty truck. So the 3 weeks basically consist of that. They, quote, refine your driving and teach you how to operate the West Side way. Every trucking company does it the same way, really, but it's just, I shouldn't say the same. They do the same thing, the end result, but the way you do it is different. For instance, at the trucking company I was before, they didn't have macros. You basically replied to an email, where these have macros. I'm just going to throw one out for example for those of you that have never been through it. But macro 1 is you're arriving at your shipper. So say I'm pulling an empty trailer and I pull into Quaker, which I did a lot of Quaker Oats loads. I would put 1, arrived at shipper, and then once I got my bill of lading and we pulled under our trailer and hooked up and stuff and got ready to go, you would do a macro 2, which says I have the load, it is on this, and you just fill it out. Literally, it tells you what is it. What's your mileage? How much gas do you have? Basically, you know where you're going. How many hours do you have left? La da da da. You punch that in, you send it. That lets the dispatchers know that you have the load and you are on your way to what they call the consignee. Easy way to remember this: the macro 1 is always the original destination, and then a macro 5 and 6 is just like a 1 and 2, but it is your final destination. But my trainer wasn't real good on simplifying things like that, so I'm trying to help you out by not getting you confused. They do the same exact thing. A micro 1 and a 5 are the same thing. It's just it's telling you you're arriving at different spots. 1 is original, 5 is consignee. And if you don't know what a consignee is, that just simply means that is where you're taking your delivery to. For instance, if we delivered from Quaker Oats, Columbia, Missouri, and we were taking it to Groveport, Ohio, Quaker Oats was the 1 and Groveport, Ohio was the 5. They'll teach you all that stuff though. And then once you're done with that, you go through those 3 weeks and you do all that. You're basically supposed to be ready to take the test. So you come in, you take a written test. The written test consists of a CSA quiz. It also consists of a macro quiz. But the cool thing is they have these little cards. I think they're still in my truck. I left my truck at my parking spot. But basically, they're just a business card, and they have the macros on them. And heck, they had the macros sitting there, so it's kind of easy. It's kind of like almost an open book, but not. But then they have like a part on there of tandems, like if they'll give you an example of your steer tires, your drive tires, and your tandems. And for all of you that don't know, 12.5 is your steers, as heavy as they can be, and then 34,000 is as heavy as you can be on your drive and your rears, so it adds up to 80,000. So if you pull onto a scale and you're over 80,000, you just forget it. You can't move them any other way because you're overweight, so you just have to go back to Cedar Rapids and take it off. But let's say you're 43,000. Happened to me a lot. They have marks. Some of the trucks have marks on the side of it, like 41 feet, 42 feet, 43 feet, and so on and so forth. Basically, the easy way to remember is if you're heavy in the front, wherever which way you're heavy is which way you move. It's kind of like a teeter-totter. So if you're heavy in the front, you slide your tandems forward. If you're heavy in the back, you slide your tandems back. I've got a cool little device that I bought called a slug that helps you do your tandems without having to jump in and out your truck. It's just a little piece that goes in the holes, and then you just slide until it hits it, and then you can pull it out. It's really, really cool. I'm going to do a separate video on it, an instructional video on it, so you guys can see how that works. It basically, when you don't have a man with you, like your trainer's going to be out there telling you, okay, stop. When you're by yourself, you're guesstimating. Okay, so you're like, okay, I got about 3 feet to move, and you kind of maybe look on the pavement for a mark, and then you stop. With this, it takes the guesstimate out of it. You just slide this in the pinhole, and it'll come up and it'll stop, and then it might wedge. So if it does, just back up a tiny bit. Once you lock your pins in, you can pull it right back out. But it takes the hard part out of it, and you don't have to keep going in and out, in and out, in and out. So I'll do an instructional video on that, but they'll teach you all that stuff. I don't think any of the other trainers use slugs. My trainer happened to have one and used it because I said, how do you move tandems by yourself? He goes, watch, I'll show you. And that was pretty cool because, they do sell them the only place I saw them was Iowa 80. It's the largest truck stop in the world, which I recommend if you're on 80, ever stop in there. It's really cool. Like if you can't find it for your truck in there, they just don't make it because it's unbelievable. I mean, they've got a barbershop, a dentist, full restaurant. I mean, hell, they've got 3 full semis in there. I mean, you want it, they've got it. Another thing I would recommend is basically getting a card for which I think I said before, but if I didn't, get a card for everybody. Get your Loves card, get your your TA card, Travel America, and then get your Pilot Flying J card. Those are your 3 big ones that you'll stop at. Because, you think about it, the company's letting you fuel during that time too. And my trainer was cool enough to let me use my card, so I gained points. And those come in handy for showers because showers are like $13 out there. So basically, if you use that card to fill up your diesel fuel, and even if you buy a candy bar and a pop, scan that card and get points built up, because then you can build up credits for showers or even use as money. It's awesome. So make sure you get that. What you're going to want to bring on that 30 days is, they say 1 to 2 weeks of clothes, and in bed clothes it's a twin mattress. So buy a twin size sheet, and then if you want a comforter or blanket, all I bought was the sheet that goes over the mattress, and then I have a nice comfy blanket I like. They have APUs in there, so the bunk heaters are always warm. They keep it temperature. They can keep you warm all night without idling your truck, so that's really good because you get a fuel bonus. Also, I'd say try to pack as light as you can, because some of the people didn't have anywhere to put stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard to pack for 5 weeks, because even though you're only with him for 3 of them or 3.5 of them, you got 2 weeks where you're in a hotel in Cedar Rapids, the orientation, and at the end of it. So my advice to you is try to pack as light as possible, but be sensible, in whatever time of year it is. Like, I went in the winter, so I packed my winter jacket. If you're looking at this and it's summer, you're going to be able to pack a little lighter. But make sure you travel. You buy your, I had a shaving bag, so I had my deodorant, my toothpaste, my basically all my deodorants, everything like that in there. And then you could take it in the shower, and I could hang it up, and I could do all my stuff. I also would recommend that you always ask questions. If you don't know, ask, because they don't know what you're thinking, so you need to make sure to not feel like you're being a dummy. The only dumb question is not asking questions. So if you're not sure where you're going, just ask. If you don't like the way they're communicating to you, ask them. Say, hey, would you please give me more of a heads up what exit I'm looking for, or when we're turning, or be more clear on how you do stuff. So always ask questions. You're always going to learn. And if you don't understand something the first time, do it again. If the trainer gets mad at you, talk to safety. If they don't want to answer your questions, like I said, the safety department is there to make sure you learn and that you are safe. So if they don't want to answer you because they've already answered you once and they're being a jerk about it, tell them, say, hey, I'm just trying to learn. And then make a call to safety, say, hey, I keep asking this guy's questions and he's not answering. So make sure that you thoroughly understand everything. Don't just be scared to ask, well, I don't understand the macros, or I don't understand this. I'm having trouble backing. If you're having trouble backing, they'll let you go out in the yard and work on backing, there at Westside. So, but for the 30 days you're gone, you're going to go through all that. And then when you come back, you come to finishing school. Like I said, you take the written test, and then you take a driver's test. And your driver's test consists of going from the headquarters of our depot at Cedar Rapids, and you go to International Paper in Cedar Rapids, and then you take a full load there, you drop it, then you drive to their lot. They've got 2 lots there, and this is something my trainer never told me. It make it a lot easier for you. There's only 2 lots. They call the triple lot and a water tower lot. It's real easy. The triple lot, all the trailers are stacked in 3s, hence the name triple. The water tower lot has a water tower on it. My trainer, for some reason, never understood how to simplify things, so that's what I'm trying to do for you. So you'll go there, you'll hand them the bill of lading, and they have to have a gate pass, which you'll go through all that, and they'll just look at you and go, triple. You turn, and you go over triple, you drop your trailer, you unhook, and then you'll put your bill of lading inside the clipboard, because that is going to be their way to, take it back to the their mill there. They have spotters to do everything. So once you do that, you go, and then you go down to the water tower lot, and then you pick up your other trailer. And once you pick up that trailer, there's, like I said, there's bill lading and clipboard. They have clipboards built in on the front of your trailers. So you open it up, and the clipboard, you'll take it out, and you'll make it come in, and you'll look at that, and you'll enter your information and your macros, which I'm not going to go over because they will with you. But then you'll leave International Paper, and then you'll go to our new headquarters, which, if you've watched my orientation videos, you've seen the picture of that. And you'll do a blindside back, and they will have you blindside back into a certain spot, and then you'll finish your day, and you'll That's where you'll do what they call a 14, because you're dropping that load off for another driver to go pick up. You're not actually delivering it because you're setting it at our terminal. This will all make a lot more sense once you go through it, but you'll hit a macro 14, which says I just dropped trailer such and such at the abbreviation for West Siding is WSRC1 or whatever, and then you put what spot, because it's actually paved and it has numbers on there, and then you bobtail back to West Side. Once you do that, if you did everything good, you didn't curb, you didn't hit anything, you didn't speed, you didn't have any violations, basically you drove safe and did it. But then what they do is they give you one of these right here. It's your certificate of completion. This means you are no longer a grunt, you're no longer a student driver, you are a professional truck driver. But after that is one of my favorite parts. I've preached family here like crazy. Family. And I'm not joking. I mean, these people are amazing. They are fun. There's not one person that doesn't walk by you and says hi. But this is really cool, and it's on my Facebook page. The video is kind of grainy because their internet was bad, but they take you into operations. And operations is this big room where all the dispatchers, driver manager by sit, and they get their attention. Everybody's quiet. And basically before that, they'll ask some stuff about you, like, what do you do? Tell me something interesting about you. Like, for instance, I'm a singer in a band and I play guitar. I have a son, and so they'll go through that, and then they'll go down there. She has a paper, and they'll introduce you as a new student driver. They'll say how many miles you ran, and then they say the interesting facts about you and just stuff like that. And we want to welcome you to the family, and everybody claps, and man, they come up and shake your hand and say welcome to the company or welcome to the family, and it's really cool. It's really awesome. And it's just you, so it's like they single you out, and it's just like, it's almost like a big hug. It's just like awesome. So that was one of the coolest things I thought. And then after that, you're waiting on your dispatch to leave. You get a trailer. You inspect your trailer your tractor, just like you do a rental car. You walk around it, see what's wrong with it. You write it up. Then you take it in the shop and have them fix anything that you saw wrong with it. If something's cracked or broken, you write that down. That way, if they can't fix that, like say I had a fairing crack, they're not going to fix it because I got a 2013. I'm getting a new truck here in a month. So basically, when it comes back with that crack, it shows that it was there before I left. Then they dispatch you your first official solo load. My first official load, thankfully, was to Indianapolis and then home here. So I basically I ran 500 mile yesterday and got home late last night, or this morning. So that's pretty much a synopsis of the training program. It really, I'm not gonna lie, it's grueling. The 3 weeks is rough. I know guys that had a good time, but the bottom line is just you're gone for home for 5 weeks. Living in an 8x8 space with a guy that you don't know, is rough. I'm not gonna lie, it's not all peaches and roses. Maybe you might find somebody that's cool and you get along with, and man, you click. But there'll be instances like mine where you don't. If you don't, like I said, don't forget to say something if you want to have a new driver. But that's the hardest part of it. It's the 3 weeks out. You're driving, you're weary, they're trying to test you. If you get fatigued, you got to tell them, because that's the first sign of getting in trouble. You don't want to get fatigued and run to get in a wreck. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But I don't think I forgot anything. I know that when you come back to West Side, you got to go through. They'll take you to your driver manager so you can meet your new manager, because when you're a trainee, you have a certain manager named Anna, and then after that, you get your official solo driver trainer. So you do get to meet them, and they do sit you down with a planner. I forgot about that part. And the planner shows you how he plans loads. It's really cool. But some people are worried about the whole using a map. By the way, I want to mention this. I had a guy that came because he saw my video and quit. But the map is, you don't have to just use a map to get to your stop. Like I told you before, it's two make sure you know where to go and where you can take your arrows. You can use your GPS as a supplement to it, but you have to use the map. I get my map out every morning. I look where I'm going, and then I look at the interstate I'm taking, and then I get my little book. I have a book, and I have the apps on my phone to find out where the nearest truck stop is. I figure out how many hours it's going to take, and that way I know where I can take my half-hour break at, and I know where I can take my 10-hour break and sleep at night. I know how many parking spots they have, and so on and so forth. So, like, it's not – just don't let that discourage you. They just teach you the map for that stuff. It's not like they say no GPS. You have to use a map to get right there. I mean, the GPS comes in handy when you get off the interstate and you're trying to find these places that are I was in a residential district, that was houses. I mean, you're never going to find that on a map. So, I mean, that's where it really helps. I mean, when you get on Interstate 70 heading to Columbus, Ohio, you know how to do that. But it's once you get there, how to get into the, the factory or the DC or whatever it is. So don't let that discourage you. And also, don't let a manual discourage you either, because it's actually easy once you drive them, man. They're real good with teaching you. And I actually had a few students that told me they were with automatics. You get an automatic when you're done, but they don't do sticks with anybody. They're getting rid of them. So you get an automatic truck. And I actually like the manual better on backing because you can, release the clutch slowly. But, an automatic's nice because it's just like driving a car. Then you just, set your cruise and go. So basically that's it. In a nutshell, if there's any other questions, like always, leave them in the comments below or just hit my Facebook link and hit me up there and ask me, and I'll let you know. I had a question the other day about something too, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was about they tell you where to fuel. They do tell you where to fuel, but it is a godsend. It's not a burden at all. Not at all. It's so nice because remember earlier I just told you had to put how much gas you have in there. Well, what they do is when they route you, they know where you're going and they know where the pilots or the Flying J's or the Loves and stuff are on the way. So what they do is they say, okay, you need to fuel at such and such, and it's on your way to your destination. So basically, it takes it out of your hands. You don't have to go, well, I've got a half tank. I think I can make it here. You don't have to worry about it. They calculate all that. I had a guy that was worried about them telling you where you could fuel. Man, it's awesome. You don't have to worry about it. It literally sends you an email. You go into here today. Say I'm going to one's the places Henderson, Kentucky. Say I'm going down there to pick up a load for Lowe's. It'll say use a fuel stop at such and such Flying J at exit this. And it's right on your way there. But if it's not, like you take an alternate route to avoid a toll road because they don't like you going on toll roads, say, hey, I can't get that stop on a route I'm taking, request new fuel stop. That's all you got to do, man. It's easy. Don't let that scare you off. So I wanted to bring that up. So pretty much that's it. If there's anything else that you guys want to know, just let me know, and I'll be happy to help answer some questions. I recommend Westside by 110%. The pay's good. My truck is 2013. It's only got 470,000 miles on it, I think, or 480,000. So basically, that tells you how much they update their trucks. For those of you in trucking, that's nothing. That's like breaking it in. That's like 60,000 miles on a regular car. They're already bringing in new trucks next week, and then they shift down. So like 65% of their fleet right now is 2015 and newer. All the 13s and 14s are going to be faded out from what I was told. The rumor is in March, and then the new 17, 18s come in, and then they just filter down. And, of course, by seniority, you get this and that. But so I'll probably be in a 2015 or 2016 Freightliner here in a month. So, I mean, it just tells you how quick they, turn and they keep you in new equipment. They also have different runs, which I'm going to do another video on. Like I'm in Indiana Dedicated Flex. They have everything. That's one thing I like about this company. They have you can go OTR, you can go Midwest Regional, or you do regional, you go Dedicated Flex, which is like me, where you get more home time, or you can do a hub driver, which is your home every day. You just drive your car to the hub, you pick it up, and you do so many different stops. A lot of places only do regional and OTR, so this does everything so you don't have to leave this company to do something else. Say you decide, I'm tired of being on the road, I want to do a day cab. Well, guess what? They do them. So I really recommend it, and the biggest thing I can stress is family, and I'm not even joking. The way they treat you is is like you're one of their own. You know, Holly, she does all of the driver stuff, the written test and the driving test. You'll know her right away. She's from Kentucky, Southern accent. She's a little spark plug, sweetest woman in the world. She considers us all her youngins, is what she calls us. So she's super awesome and just basically treats you like her own kids. You know, everybody there is all nice, always asking how you're doing. Is everything okay? The recruiting department, man, those people are nice too. One thing I can stress, and I want to stress this very, very, very clearly, I was not lied to one time. Not one time. And that's huge with me. I mean, I was expecting to get something twisted eventually. Not once. Now, I'm going out my new route, and we'll see if I get home on the days I'm supposed to. But I don't see why I won't. But everything from day one to yesterday when I got that certificate and got my first load was on point. And that is huge with me. This is the honesty, because that's a trust factor. So I recommend Westside, hashtag drive for Westside. If you look that up, you'll see me. If you have any other questions, comments below or Facebook me, and I'll be happy to answer them, and let me know. So if you did see this video and you come to Westside, let me know, because I am teaming up with recruiting, and I would like to be able to get my recruiting help from that, you know, because I get a little bit of kickback from that as well for recruiting. So if you do like my videos and you're coming here because of me, first of all, thank you for watching them, and thank you for that. But make sure to let me know, and I can even just send your name in right away with my phone app, and then they'll just get a hold of you, and I can do all the legwork, and you don't have to worry about nothing but a phone call. So if you like that, please, please, please let me know, because I'm going above and beyond my regular driving duties to do these recruiting videos. And the cool thing is, they liked my orientation videos so much that they partnered up with me, and they gave me my own GoPro that I'm going to use, and I'm going to do vlogs every day for them and do different stuff. So I kind of, you know, want to get, you know, not only my recruiting stuff, but I enjoy doing this for you guys, because I know when I looked for Westside, I couldn't find nothing. And I wanted a driver's opinion and not some recruiter. Not that these recruiters lie. It's just, you know, I've been burnt by recruiters before. I'm sure a lot of you have. I am, you know, a driver. I was a student driver. I went through it, and I wanted to show you guys basically exactly what happens from a driver's perspective, a student driver. So, you know, if you're a professional driver, you're not going to be going through this video because you don't go through this. This is all for students. So basically that's about it. And I wanted to give you a shot through my eyes so you guys could get the real deal. And I'm going to keep on going through that. And, you know, like I said, they like that I do the good, bad, and the ugly. You know, I'm going to be honest. I'm not sitting here blowing smoke. Like I told you, I didn't get along with my trainer. They gave me the opportunity to leave. I didn't. That was my choice, not theirs. They gave me the choice. They could have took me out, but they let me have the choice to do it. So, you know, it's not all, like I said, candy and roses, but, you know, I still recommend it. Not everybody out there is bad. I heard a lot of great stories from other students that their trainers were amazing. You know, I just happened to get one that wasn't. So I still passed, and I took it upon myself to do it. So, you know, it's not like it's impossible. So definitely recommend Westside. Definitely recommend that you check them out. At least give them a call and see what they're about. Hopefully you've already learned it from me on here. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you think of the videos. So that's it. Any questions, comments below, or Facebook? Other than that, I'll catch you on the next vlog. See you guys.